Are my top tips for employees in the UK who are pregnant or planning to become pregnant and want to know about their employment rights. First useful thing to know is when your rights relating to pregnancy actually start. They don't actually start necessarily when you become pregnant, but when your employer either finds out or even suspects that you might be pregnant. This is called the protected period, and it carries on until 26 weeks after you give birth as well. You also have rights relating to your maternity leave, so you can't be discriminated because you want to go on maternity leave, because you've been on maternity leave, or because you're currently on maternity leave. So there are actually 6 different types of discrimination, and 4 of those often directly relate to something like maternity and pregnancy discrimination. That's direct discrimination, which is the one we kind of know about usually, where someone mistreats you because you are pregnant, for example. But there's also indirect, harassment, and victimization. Victimization in particular is an interesting one, because if you complain because you think that you have been discriminated against because of your pregnancy or maternity, and then you are subsequently mistreated even more, then that ticks another box of them having victimized you. It's worth looking at these different types. Direct discrimination is often the most common for pregnancy and maternity, where you've lost out on opportunities or things like that because of your pregnancy or maternity leave. All of these rights apply before 2 years of employment, and in fact, even before you actually got a job. So if you applied for a job and disclosed that you were pregnant, your employer wouldn't be able to use that as a reason to not hire you solely on the basis of that, unless there was some other kind of really valid thing like a health and safety concern involved. If something does go wrong and you think that you're being mistreated because of a pregnancy or maternity, ACAS is always a good first port of call, but there is also Pregnant Then Screwed, who have a wonderful free advice line, and then they can signpost you to additional resources as well. The other thing I would recommend is that you download our free action toolkit. The link is available in my profile to give you an idea of what internal processes you can use to complain about this before you have to kind of get more legal. Write down everything that happens, write notes of all the meetings that you have. We have a free platform where you can keep track of all of that, but you can just write it down in an email. Just make sure that your notes are time-stamped, so it's easy for you to be able to say, on this date, this thing happened, I immediately recorded it, and here's proof that it was recorded on that date. In general, though, you have rights and you have every right to use them.